We are live. There's one viewer somewhere in the ether. We have Texas Arcane, aka Sir Cleveland Blakemore. Sir Kenaz has been sent an invite. He should be joining us shortly. Sir Cleveland, are you winning?
Good morning, sir. I don't feel like I'm winning. I'm doing the best I can now.
Oh man. You know what? Let me start sharing my screen because apparently this is the new way of doing things with spaces, right? But I just want to show you something, right? So sometimes seeing is believing, as they like to say. Okay, share that. All right. And I think if I had to scroll down here, I had something that I shared with everyone. It's not this much. No, it's not that one. But I found something fascinating. Uh, Israel drops flyers. That's not what I'm looking for. Breaking news from Al Jazeera. Iran threatens response if U.S. is unable to contain Israeli aircraft. Oh yeah, 17 hours ago. Iranian attacks target Singaporean ship. Tehran warning to shipping outside our routes. Your responsibility alone. Yeah, basically,
You knew it was
what's
coming.
yeah, basically what's happening is the Iranians are like, if you want to get through the Strait of Hormuz, you can use the Iranian route, which is near our waters. You can pay us some environmental protection fees for the dolphins and the fishes, right?
Yeah,
And then you can pass.
yeah.
If you're trying to use the Omani route, we will like fire on you and hey man, sucks to be you, right?
These
But
guys thought it was business as usual,
yeah,
and nothing has
yeah,
changed. And that was
yeah,
really stupid. Obviously, things have changed significantly. If you look at the damage to that ship, I mean, technically, Iran is now a world power, and anybody
yeah.
that defies them gets their ship destroyed.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And Trump is basically trying to sell the lie of like, oh, we're gonna give them 300 billion, but it's not actually gonna be money or cash. It's actually gonna be like soybeans and agricultural product. He's just lying, right? Like during his first term, he did the same thing with like, oh, we're gonna give the Chinese a bunch of soybeans and shit. We're not actually gonna give them money. Like he has
Yeah,
to sell the defeat, right?
yeah,
Which it is. It's a defeat, right? And he has to like make shit up, right?
yeah.
Let me actually read this because this guy
I
is
read
amazing.
that Brandon Weichert as well. Great minds think
Yeah,
alike. Now, if it
yeah,
looks like we patronize the same riders.
exactly, exactly. Uh, all right. Oh, this is hilarious. Okay, so this is Ghalibaf. Ghalibaf is the parliament speaker for Iran. Okay, America falsely claims our unfrozen assets. So he's talking about the 12 billion bucks will buy their agriculture. Interesting. The only crop we're harvesting is what you planted decades of mistrust. It's organic, abundant, and homegrown, but apparently the U.S. only exports GMO soybeans, broken promises, and trash talks.
That's about it. That's their primary
That's what
export
it's talking
now.
about. Oh man. I'm just seeing what he said. Oh, he's using soccer. All right, fine. All right. This guy knows. He's a grandpa, but he knows how to meme. That's good. Um, but yeah, Sir Cleveland. I don't expect shipping or flows to normalize. Right? They're trying to do market manipulation and what have you with regard to. Oh, look, the price of oil is now $70. Everything is fine. Right? No, it's not, bro.
It's bad. It's
It's
bad.
very bad. It's very bad. Like flows have not normalized, and what's happening right now is that people are saying the crisis is over, but in reality, let me show you something. All right, let me see. Escape from Twitter is Twitter is a shithole, but sometimes you find good people. So I'm
Uh-huh.
just trying to find this guy. All right, this guy had a bunch of charts and graphs. Okay, can you see this, Sir Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay. These numbers are pulled from the IEA, International Energy Agency's reports. I consider this the rosiest possible scenario, the most optimistic scenario, and will dig through the OPEC report later for contrast. The highlighted portion is the reserves we are currently spending. You can see why the price is collapsing in the year. So basically, December, January, okay, no war. Production started dropping drastically as soon as the war began, right? But production was over demand, and so when you have a surplus like that, countries around the world, this is a global production, global demand, right? So countries around the world, they have this much to work with regard to stockpiling their supplies. And look at what happened as soon as the war began, Sir Cleveland. Negative, 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 negative. We still don't have the June numbers yet, but basically every time you see that number going negative, right?
Yeah,
This is before you factor in reserves. So the reserves have to come in and make up for that. And by the way, these reserves, they were stockpiled or stashed over 40, 50 years, right? And what's happening right now is, oh, enough. Why do you care about this number of like 201, right? This is the global production and global demand number. Isn't America a fortress? Well, the issue there is that the Americans have an SPR, which they're letting the vassals in Asia and Europe loot, right? And they're
right,
looting that to make sure that this 200 number does not affect them, right? So
right.
the demand destruction, if you notice, has not really happened, like barely, right?
Yeah,
Production is getting destroyed, no doubt, right? And what's happening is whether it's Japan, South Korea, Germany, they're buying up all that special petroleum reserve so that they don't collapse. But in doing so, they're going to ensure that within the next several weeks and months, America is going to have shortages in fuel and gasoline and diesel and whatnot, right?
right.
Sir Cleveland, would you like to explain to the audience why it's important that gasoline and diesel running out and hitting tank bottom in America is going to affect them?
Transport costs will go through the roof until eventually it'll become too expensive to actually deliver food to grocery markets. The prices involved simply getting it to market make it prohibitive, and certain types of food won't be sold in enough quantity to
Mhm.
justify their transport on the roads.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
we're already seeing it here. I've noticed prices have gone up even after the supposed ceasefire.
Yeah.
So that's not good. If they didn't go down right away, a lot of people are betting that maybe the ceasefire is not going to hold or it's not
Mhm.
going to do us any good. There's a lot of commercial interests that are already driving up the price of eggs here. And
Mhm.
that's usually a good weather vane to tell where the whole market's going, the
Mhm.
price of eggs.
Mhm. 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 Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's um, it's gonna get worse. And the thing is, right? Like, I don't expect the ceasefire to hold. Fighting will probably resume in a couple of days or weeks, per usual, because the Americans are non-agreement capable. Um, they're not going to stop the Israelis in Lebanon, and they're not going to insist on these, requirements. They're going to be like, oh no, Iran has to do freedom of navigation or whatever. Iran's going
yeah,
to be like, no, man, look, Straits of Hormuz belongs to us. If you don't agree to that, we can start fighting again, right?
yeah,
Uh, but let's assume, for the sake of argument, that you give me a magic wand and I wave it, and fighting just stops, right? Okay. If fighting just stops, what that means is Iran now has control over the Straits, and they're going to use it, right? And again, like whether it's Michael McFaul, Robert Kagan, these neocons, they've already figured this out. They're like, okay, well, Iran's going to use the Straits to blackmail economies like the United Kingdom, Japan, South Korea, and they're going to be like, look, you can remove the sanctions on us so that we can trade on the global markets, or you get no fuel or sulfur and what have you, right?
right,
So it's your choice. And okay, well, you remove the sanctions on Iran. There goes the American sanction system in its entirety. Because, like, a lot of people don't understand this, but, like, the temporary waiver on Iranian sanctions, before the waiver, Iran had like 6,000 sanctions on it. To
yeah,
coordinate 6,000 sanctions to like actually shut out an economy of like 93 million people, you need to coordinate with multiple people. It's not just, okay, I'm coordinating with Japan and South Korea, but I'm
yeah,
also doing it with the Europeans and then with all the other OECD countries, right? Like, Iran breaking free of that is the end of that system, is the
yeah.
end of like the American sanction system, right? So that's what that is.
I
Um,
feel sorry for them because they're still talking like they have NATO force behind them, when clearly, increasingly, NATO's being closed down or abandoned. And these European nations don't realize the Iranians have you at sword point. You literally,
yep.
without the United States to enforce any previous arrangements, you will have to concede whatever demands they make. If you want to get
Yep,
anything, it's all the fault of you've gotten so much stuff shipped from the outside through these Straits of
yep,
Hormuz. Your economy is totally dependent on them. But they continue to talk like it's 1975, and it's not. It's not. You don't have um, any ability to project power or to threaten anybody with your pathetic militaries. You let this stuff wane for the socialist state, and you let America take responsibility for your military for the past 50 years. And with them no longer backing you, you basically have to do whatever the Iranians tell you to do, period.
yep.
And a lot of them are not smart enough to figure that out.
No, 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 no. They still think that, oh, it's those stupid Iranians, man. Obviously, we killed 3,000 something of them. We can just do that again over and over again. And I
Yeah,
just laugh. I'm like, no, dude, like, you don't have a army in the region. You don't have a ground force, right? Number
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Number two, the Navy, right? Like the Bahraini naval headquarters, according to Wall Street Journal, that has been
right,
completely destroyed, right? So
right.
Diego Garcia does not have the logistics nor the ability to sustain you. So your Navy's gone as well. All right, what's next? Well, you've got your Air Force. Okay, fine. You take off from like Jordan and Israel. You fly several hours. You bomb them with whatever little standoff munitions you've got left. You use up another, like, you used up one third already in your anemic 40-day campaign. Okay,
Yeah,
the remaining stuff that you have, you're probably going to use up more than half of it in
yeah.
another 6-week campaign. And like what? Okay, fine. I killed another 3,500 Iranian, mostly civilians, right?
I've
They're just
heard
going
the
to get more
U.S.
pissed at you, man.
munitions.
Yeah,
I heard the U.S. is simply about to run out of munitions.
yeah,
All the
yeah,
good stuff
exactly.
they sent to the Ukraine, where it was used in futility, it didn't accomplish anything. But the United States, needs another 10 years to manufacture replacements for all this stuff. And the idea they're just going to start a new attack with
Hmm.
no munitions and bomb their way to success, it'll never happen. And the Iranians have demonstrated they are so deep in the earth, so well ensconced. You'll have to use nukes. And the thing is, even I don't think even nukes can harm these guys. They're
No,
so
no,
deep
no, no, no.
underground. I mean, you'd kill some of them, but the resulting animosity from the whole world, if America did that in this
Mhm.
unprovoked war, right? They've been claiming Iran's on the verge of getting nukes for 30 years. It was
Yeah,
an unprovoked war. If they, in turn, decide on using nukes in this unprovoked war on a sovereign state because they don't like the way they do politics, America will have no allies left and probably won't even have Israel left for an ally. I think in many ways Israel has figured out that the United States is a dying nation, and it might be good to ditch them and see if they can get another patron because the United
exactly.
States doesn't have the military left to project
Yeah,
the force
yeah.
the Israelis need to scare everybody with.
Exactly, exactly. Sir Kenas, are you winning? Are you winning, Sir
I'm
Kenas?
winning. I'm winning so hard. I may have to change my underwear. I've been winning so hard.
Okay, okay. Look at all this winning. Look, Sir Kenas, look at all this winning. Look at this winning. Look at that winning. Look at that graph. It's so much winning.
Yeah.
Man, that's
By the way, Sir Kenas, the reason this graph is not worse is because the Japanese are buying American oil in like
uh,
record numbers. And where is that oil coming from? It's coming from the Special Petroleum Reserve that the Americans have spent
so we're
almost
giving
50 years
away
stockpiling.
the
Yeah.
we're selling the American reserve to keep other countries running.
Well, I mean, it kind of sort of works, but as you can see, it's still going down. Like the trend is downward. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you could they're called reserves for a reason. These are for emergency purposes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an emergency, I'll grant you, but it's an emergency we didn't have to get in.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't worry, Sir Kenas. Even though the Japanese inventories have collapsed, obviously that's not going to affect the AI stocks and Samsung and all these other things. Don't worry about it, Sir Kenas.
Oh, I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. I mean, it would only affect the AI stocks if the AI stocks needed a lot of energy.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
No, wait. Never mind.
Oh, what's happening, Sir Kenneth? Look, more winning, Sir Kenneth. That's a single month, by the way. That's a single month.
Yeah.
So it used to be 85 a month. Now it's like a 105 a month. Oh my God, bro. Bro, you're gonna get absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
The tariffs will be kicking in soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Elon Musk says deflation is inevitable. Sir Kenaz, what is another name for depression?
Big fucking economic drop.
Yes, and the formal name
Deflation.
for depression is
Okay.
deflation. So what does Elon Musk say?
He says there's going to be, that makes.
Elon Musk says big fucking economic drop. Elon Musk says greatest depression is inevitable.
If a dollar has deflated to the value of a nickel 100 years
Yeah.
ago, what happens when our currency deflates by a nickel?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
It's only got 5% to go before it's worthless, the American dollar.
Yeah.
So deflation would crush us. It would crush our currency.
Yeah. Yeah. So much fun.
We're winning, 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 winning. So much
All right,
winning. I can't wait till we start losing.
all right, let me read this. On Monday, I warned that war would hit Lebanon and Hormuz shipping at odds with the MOU. Today, a merchant vessel near Oman was attacked. I think that's the Japanese ship. Fitting that red line precisely, the single event matters less than the pattern. The logic of escalation, yeah, exactly. The Iranians are going to fire at those ships. Many think the MOU means peace has arrived. This is a mistake. MOU simply moves the battlefield to negotiations. Iran wants power, not just money for quote unquote performance. Yesterday's attack proves it. Iran wants Hormuz first and foremost. All right, let me see what this one says. Let me see.
All these nations thought it was just business as usual, and they would resume and just sneak past the blockade or go through another route. And they don't understand. This is a wartime blockade, and it's permanent. If you don't pay Iran, you're going to get bombed. It's not business as usual. Things have changed more dramatically than they have in the past 100 years. Iran.
Hey, Sir Kenneth, look at this. Look at this. We're winning, Sir Kenneth. Look at that. Look at that.
Hold on. Where's our winning? I was just
Semiconductors.
Moment.
Obviously, semiconductors aren't affected by like the global economy crashing.
No, there's nothing to worry about here. Not, pay no attention to that, like that orange man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Okay, breaking news 4 hours ago. IRGC issues direct warning to U.S. over Israeli military aircraft movements in neighboring countries, declaring them a dangerous act and direct threat to Iran. If America is unable to contain and control the Zionist regime, the Islamic Republic will not tolerate any threat and considers it its right to respond. Iranian military on high alert. Message is clear. Any Israeli... Yeah, so they're going to go back to war again. And it's going to happen even though the Qataris and the Emiratis gave them a shit ton of money, as did the Americans. So this is this is the new normal, gents, right? Like Iran starts fighting, Iran beats the shit out of America for a few more weeks. America's like, hey, let's negotiate. And then Iran's like, give us money first. America gives them money. And then America pretends to negotiate. And then Iran's like, oh, you broke the agreement. All right, time to beat you up again, right? And like Sir Kenneth, this is the new normal. Like every few weeks and months, this is what's going to happen now. It's just going to be like more of this crap.
FA,
man.
well, I preferred the former illusions, illusions that the U.S. was in control, but they FA'd, and now it's time to FO, and it turns out none of the assumptions about U.S. power were accurate anymore.
Yeah. So, Kenas, this is 12 hours ago, but look at all that winning in South Korea. Like, they're literally going out, donating their blood and plasma, and taking like 50 different loans so that they can, have this stock market bubble in like fucking the Kospi index, right? Which is like actually what it is Samsung and a few of these tech companies making AI, right? But look at that winning, Sir Kenneth. Look at how beautiful that winning is. Look at that. Look at that winning.
Wow.
That's winning.
That's winning. Look at that. So much winning. Oh man. By the way, this is the current traffic, right? Oh, enough. America has won. America has freed the Straits of Hormuz. Well, where are all the ships going to? Well, they're going to China. Uh 10% of the ships are Russia linked, 8% are Iranian linked. This 65% number, that's primarily Iranian, with a bunch of others in the mix. But all right, let's do some math. 65, 10, and 8. Hey, look at that, Sir Kines. 83% of the ships are enemy countries.
We're winning, winning, winning.
Oh, God. Hmm. Countries that establish their own shipping lane through the Straits of Hormuz will have no security without Tehran's approval. Iran's deputy Minister of Finance. Yeah, this is hilarious.
That's it. That's the law. That's the law now. That's
That's the
international
law.
law.
Yeah. Sucks to
Iran
be
needs
you,
to have
folks.
some flyers printed up and pass them out.
Mm,
So all these
yeah.
nations realize things are different now. That's it. Forget about the
Yeah.
old order. It's gone.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. What is this? Okay, Tehran ministry being upset. Are you openly advocating for my death? Yes. Oh dear. Oh man. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Who updated his oil gas forecast? No one will recognize until it is in the rear mirror, just like last time. So people are beginning to model what's going to happen next. Uh, let's see what Americana is up to. Let me stop sharing my screen. But no, Sir Kenaz, so much winning. So much winning. You just gotta scroll to Zitter and you can just watch the winning happening in real time.
I'm winning. I'm winning.
Sir Cleveland, are you winning?
No, I don't think that's you'd call it winning. I'm just clinging to life like everybody else. I'm waiting
Uh,
for July 4th and the official 250th anniversary for people to realize that America is subject to the exact same forces that have ended every empire in history. That's why wise heads told us, do not form empire. Do not
mhm,
form empire. It'll be a mistake you'll regret.
mhm,
And on July 4th, I think a lot of people will realize it was wonderful while it lasted, but these last idiots have finished it off. Trump's administration and these retards have destroyed whatever hope that we had of going forward into recovery. You know,
all right.
I don't
All
know
right. All
what
right.
it's going to be bad. I reckon within a couple of months, people are going to realize the ceasefire didn't accomplish anything. It just made it worse.
All right. Let's see what the orange nigger has to say. Let's see. Trump on Iran. We have another one, a new market coming up. That's called the lovely country of Iran. It's a beautiful place. Would anybody like to go there? The Islamic Republic of Iran, they're having a hard time with food, and we are going to be taking some of their money and we'll spend it. And we're going to be buying wheat, soybeans, and corn, a lot of it. And that process is going to be starting pretty soon. It's going to be pretty big too. Sir Kenaz, what do you say to
To paraphrase Ozzy Osbourne, I'm fucking speechless.
that?
What the fuck, man? You got a fucking bloody idiot in the
Mhm.
president's office.
Oh,
Literally,
oh
I'd
man.
rather have Ozzy in the president's office right now. I mean, he might bite the heads off bats occasionally. He might not always be sober, but he'd be a he couldn't fuck things up any worse.
Oh dear.
I think
Yeah,
I think
he has to. He has to.
I made this
Yeah, go ahead, Sir
analogy
Cleveland.
once before, but it's like the little kid you see running around the Special Olympics on the field, and he's waving this ribbon in front of the whole crowd, and they got to send a race official out there to gather him up. And somebody's got to explain to the kid, he didn't win. That's just a participation ribbon. Everybody gets one of those. Trump is like that little kid, and he's running around claiming we won, when in fact all you did was participate. You started a war, you lost it, and you made things a million times worse. And there's no reason for celebration at all.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be really fucking funny, but like yeah, that's what that is. I'm just seeing what else is.
Hold on, you there?
You can also share your screen if you have something cool to share, Sir Kenneth, with regard to how this is going. Dear. Asian market for dumping. This was 3 hours ago. Da-da. If we follow after that, that's not really important.
That Singapore ship that they attacked, I mean, it wasn't just hit with a missile and made inoperable. I mean, they totally destroyed that ship.
Yeah, basically, they fired multiple drones at it.
I'll be
Um,
amazed if it doesn't sink. I mean, there was nothing left of it.
they probably have to scuttle it. You probably have to scuttle it. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where things are. Like, if you use the Omani route, you're
Yeah.
putting your life on the line. You might be able to miraculously get through if 10 other ships are destroyed. But like, if you're a shipping company, you're not really interested in doing that over and over again, right? So that's what that is. Hmm. Just trying to see what else is there. Singapore Port Authority attack on our ship in the Hormuz Strait is unprovoked and unjustifiable. Well, buddy, there's nothing you can do about it. So sucks to be you, Crimea River. So there we go. Okay, and what do we have here? Latest information has been relatively fully lifted.
Trump is trying to claim that the strait is open, but you need to check with the Iranians on that because they
Yeah.
control it now. He acts like the United States has opened it. I mean, it was open to begin with. So
Yeah.
now it's no longer open exactly. You have to pay a fee. You have to go through the Iranians, and all of these ships that the US sent through as sacrificial goats, they're getting destroyed because someone didn't explain to them. Now that's not how it works anymore. You don't just come and go as you please.
Ah, Sir Cleveland, you're talking about the dolphins and the fishes, the fees needed for that. Yeah, obviously, Iran is such an environmentally conscious country. They
That's
need
right.
those fees, obviously.
You pay the fee or you get bombed because we have to look out for those dolphins.
There we
And
go.
that's
Exactly.
the rules.
There we go. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Uh, Stanley Johnny says the U.S. military is now considering reducing its presence. So when it says presence, they're talking about the bases, right? In Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and moving some bases west, farther from the reach of Iranian missiles and drones. Structures that were attacked may not be rebuilt. When he says may not, it means it won't be rebuilt. That means all 18, 19, 20 bases. All right. Command and control nodes could be moved underground. Yeah, there's no budget for that, so that's not going to happen. And military capabilities could become more spread out according to region. If Wall Street Journal says something, Sir Cleveland, that's
Yeah,
like mainstream American media. That's like the most rosy picture possible.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. This is why we say the old security order is dead.
There you
Keeping
go.
American military concentrated in a few countries without Iranian rage is not going to help either. The war has shattered. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. He's saying keeping American military concentrated. My question, Sir Kenneth and Sir Cleveland, what military is he talking about? The same military that ran the fuck away when the bases got destroyed? The
Yeah,
same military that is now primarily in Israel and Jordan and has left most of Iraq, Syria, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, and Bahrain? That military?
yeah,
There's not much going on there, right? If
yeah,
if you're in Israel and Jordan, okay, fine. Iran missed a spot, as the kids like to say, with regard to mopping the entire room. But you'll be out of there as well, pretty much. But that's where things are at, Sir Kinez. Lots of winning.
The commenter below that who said the whole idea of containment is
Yeah.
over with, and
Yep.
it was always kind of an illusion and an unofficial policy of America, but they can't enforce any containment anymore.
And if you can't enforce containment, what that means is Iran is now more powerful than OPEC because
Yeah.
Iran can basically, like, OPEC has to call a general meeting, and in that general meeting, Saudi Arabia is like the leader of the meeting, and then countries are voting, and they're like, "Oh, I want a different production quota. What are you doing? This is unfair." And after lots of bickering and shit, eventually they decide something. Iran just presses the big red button, fires a bunch of missiles. Oh, the Singapore ship is destroyed. Anyone's like, you can't pass through that one. That passway, you gotta use our passway. By the way, here's how much you gotta pay to keep the dolphins and the fishes safe. Right?
Yeah.
So, oh dear. Let me just see what this is. Yuan has never said Hormuz. Iran has never said Hormuz would return to status quo ante. Trump said it. In the MOU, Iran has agreed to ensure safe passage without any charge for 60 days and then to decide the future upkeep of the strait in consultation with Oman and other littoral states. Well, other littoral states, but really it's going to be Oman. Okay. Rubio was in the region. He had two goals. One, to assure the Gulf kingdoms of security partnerships. Two, unite them against Iran at a time when most of them were talking to the Iranians. The GCC issued a strong statement after the Rubio meet, and Oman opened a new route for Hormuz crossing along its coast. This wasn't acceptable for Iran. Rather than a toll or service charge, what's more important for Iran to exercise its control over the traffic through the Straits of Hormuz? Yeah, that's right. They think the control is a key deterrent against future American or Israeli attacks. That's correct as well. What we saw on Thursday was Iran exercising this control, sending a message to Gulf kingdoms when it launched a symbolic. I mean, he's calling it a symbolic attack, but that didn't look symbolic to me, Sir Cleveland. So, vessel off the Oman's coast. So. Stoic investor says, based on the evidence so far, I believe the Straits won't ever return to pre-war era, as Iranians will one way or another get the toll they want. It doesn't matter if it's called fees or insurance, as it'll remain a toll for passing the Straits. That's correct. Yeah.
You see that article on screen?
Yes, sir. Let me see.
I read this
Iran
yesterday.
warns ship. Yeah.
So they laid down the law. They told America as it's going to be, and America told them, "Well, don't worry, just use your alternate route. Sure, it'll be okay." They were given clear instructions. That's not the way it works. You can see here, all vessels must contact IRGC Navy on the designated channel before transiting or face enforcement actions. In other words, we vaporize your ship and send it to the bottom of the ocean. That's the enforcement. And you know what? These Americans are such pussies. They're so unfamiliar with real violence outside of TV and movies. They think that all this is simply a political move, and these statements that it will destroy a ship that transits the strait without their permission, they thought all that is like they do. It's just talking. They're not serious. So the American habit of just flapping your lips without any integrity or with any real meaning behind it, which has become a habit. It's the way Americans talk. That's not the way Iranians talk. When they say, contact us on the designated channel and do not use alternate routes, clearly they weren't kidding. The problem is on the American side. They are not masculine enough. Their brains don't work well enough to understand there's a pretty serious situation, and the situation is controlled by Iran. I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but I mean, how come America doesn't understand that was the conditions of the ceasefire? Because you see here, they made it obvious what the conditions would be, and America had no argument, and they promptly sent a bunch of ships to and told me, "Yeah, don't worry about it. They're just saying that. That's not actually the policy now."
Sir Cleveland. I was told, even though America lost the war, right? Even though America lost the war, don't worry about it because America is going to use the control over the global commons, the sanction system, all of these other things to coerce Iran, and then the straits will be open anyways. I was told all of that.
You
I still
notice
know.
it's all talking. It's all abstract metaphors and theoretical concepts, but it's a nation which is out of munitions. Okay, so it's nothing but talking. The person enforcing their will here, projecting force, as they say in the military, is Iran. And America is just a bunch of chronic masturbators, people who've grown up on movies, draft dodgers with no military experience. They don't know. The guy that's got the weapons uh, dictates terms to those who don't. And America had nothing but old junk left over from Vietnam. It really is as bad as we've described it on here enough, but the world is just figuring it out now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna get worse because like what the Americans are doing right now is they're trying to lie their way out of this, right? Like they're just like, oh, everything will be fine, bros. Like Iran's gonna open up the straits, even though America lost the fucking war because we have sanctions and like, buddy, if you can't control the Straits of Hormuz, you've lost the ability to sanction Iran, right? Like it's
Right.
as simple as that. Well, if you can't get freedom of navigation and you can't get Japan and South Korea to stock up on fuel and raw materials and this stuff from the Middle East, whether it's like sulfur or helium or whatever, you've lost the ability to sanction Iran. Iran can now directly, quote unquote, sanction you guys by using, their control over the straits to cut off flows to you, right? Like, okay, well, I'm gonna sanction Iran, and therefore, sometime in November or December, they're gonna open up the straits. That's not what's gonna happen. What's going to happen is you're going to run away from the Middle East, right? And then a bunch of Americans, being the fucking solipsists that they are, they're going to be like, oh, this is amazing. We can finally build Fortress America. We don't need
Yeah,
the Middle East. And then 5 weeks later, right, there's going to be shortages and outages at the grocery store, at the fuel pumps, and everything else. And they're going to be like, what's going on? I thought America is like 9.6 million square kilometers, 350 million people. This place is
right.
a fucking empire or continent inside a country. What's going on here? Well, what's going on is that once upon a time you lived in a society which
Yeah,
was the world hegemon and empire, right?
yeah,
And it got favorable terms at the marketplace for
right.
oil, fertilizer, all these other things. Well, a lot of it is imported, by the way, right? Uh, Now that you don't have those favorable terms, the vassals in Asia and Europe are bidding on the marketplace for those things, right? Using their currencies, which, if you add up Japan, South Korea, the Europeans, all of these other guys, they
Yeah,
have 2.5 times more purchasing power than you, right? So even all the stuff that you depend on, which is like, all right, we're just gonna import a bunch of heavy oil from Canada and a bunch of stuff from Mexico, you're not gonna have most of that. Like 20-25% of it is just gonna be diverted to like Japan and South Korea, right?
yeah,
And as that happens, right, you'll find out that actually we don't really have much of a fortress going on here.
yeah, yeah. As more and more nations have to join the Iranians,
Mhm,
basically become allies in order to get oil, to get through the straits,
yeah,
America is going to become more and more irrelevant. And it's going to make
mhm,
further dictates about how things are going to be. And people are going to ignore them even more than they are now. And they instead are going to look towards the Iranians because they realize that is the effective military power. The rules come from them, not the US. If
yeah,
this keeps up for a year from now, people will literally just start ignoring the United States, whatever they say.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
How many things has Trump threatened which he doesn't follow through on? They are associated, like women, with making all kinds of verbal threats, but it's just bluff. If you're going to threaten people, you better follow through on this stuff, and
Mhm,
they don't. Increasingly, other nations are thinking, yeah, well, America makes a lot of noise, but they can
mhm,
safely be ignored. Meanwhile, check with the Iranians before you transit.
mhm,
Period.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Uh, are you winning, Sir Kenneth?
I'm winning. I'm back and I am winning.
Oh my god. I'm just trying to find something interesting, but like, yeah, if you gents want to share your screen and chat about what you found, that's fine as well. But it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. Um, like they're making shit up. Trump has to tell the markets, oh, we're gonna sell a bunch of stupid American agriculture to Iran. Obviously, that's what's gonna happen. That's why we're not going bankrupt. right? He's doing a dog and pony show, right? He's doing a dog and pony show. That's what this is. Uh,
Now, so do you think if they have serious, serious food shortages near the end of this year, coming in the fall, do you think they're going to wage a war while internally they are really hungry? They'll have enough internal problems. They really
yeah,
won't be able to look outside anymore. And there's a similar situation in the Roman Empire as they
yeah,
were coming up on their collapse. They had
yeah.
the Roman food riots. They had serious shortages, and nobody cared about what was going on the fringes of the empire in the wars against the barbarians. They just didn't have time to worry about that stuff. Worried about where they're going to get simple bread, and the water became their predominant anxiety at this
Mhm.
end. I don't see America by the end of the year is gonna give a hoot what's going on over in the Middle East. They won't care. We'll have too many problems inside the country.
Yeah, the issue there is just that if you get to that point, you have to start doing capital controls. You have to do like
Yeah,
lockdowns and capital controls. Oh, you know, what do we do about the food supply? Well, we have to stop exporting food ourselves, right? And we
yeah,
have to become like,
yeah,
um, the thing is, right, most Americans won't care about the Middle East, obviously, because they'll have
mm,
bigger problems back at home. But
right,
like, you have to care about the Middle East for the simple reason that that's where the world's usable stuff comes from, right? Like, I,
yeah,
I like to explain it this way, right? Oil is of different grades, right? There's different grades of oil. Some grades are heavier, some grades are lighter. America has lighter oils, right? This is for like cooking fuel, that kind of stuff, right? Canada has heavier stuff. This is for like bitumen on the roads, heavy shipping fuel, etc., right? You've got heavy, you've got light, then you've got Goldilocks zone, right? So um the right mass and volume as well as the right sulfur content. Where is that oil found? It's found in the Middle East. It's not found in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not found in the Alberta tar sands. Like, oh, enough. We found a shit ton of stuff in the Gulf of Mexico and the Alberta tar sands. Wonderful, bro. That is excellent. That is wonderful. I'm
yeah,
letting you know right now, whether it's the diesel for the trucks or the jet fuel for the planes or all of the other stuff that's needed to run civilization for 8.5 billion people on the planet, that stuff is found in the Middle East, right?
yeah.
So you don't have to care about the Middle East, right? Middle East cares about you, right? Um, yeah. So
But
if you want, yeah, go ahead.
currently the vanity behind Zionism and overarching concern about Israel is part of the luxury, the
Hmm.
the ample supply and the prosperity. When we don't have enough problems in our own country, we can pretend to be deeply affected by what's going on somewhere else.
Hmm.
Um, as things get worse, it'll become a luxury that nobody can afford anymore. In order to have that model of everybody talking about, oh, how much more money can we send over there,
Yeah.
you've got to have enough French fries, milkshakes, and burgers stuffed into people to make them grandiose and obsessed with rare concerns that they think makes me more virtuous than my fellows. When you get back to the reality of
Hmm.
bread and butter and guns and simple survival inside the United States, I think Israel is going to become presented as a liability that we really could never afford, but now we definitely can't afford to send them anymore. It's going to become a political issue, which will be death if you don't have voter fraud. Support for Israel is going to become death in an election.
Yeah.
You are not going to be able to proceed on that platform and get a single person to vote for you. The Zionist preachers that they pay good money year round to promote
Hmm.
their interests, they're going to find their whole flock doesn't care. We don't care.
Hmm.
Israel's been funded for 100 years. They're going to have to take care of themselves because we have concerns here at home that are way more important than that.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
heard
Hmm.
uh, a Roman basically say, "You can drive reality, nature, out with a pitchfork,
Hmm.
but sooner or later she will return." And in America, they have driven reality out and human nature. They've driven it out with a pitchfork, but it's going to return with a vengeance. And all
Oh yeah.
all the internal concerns in the U.S. we've neglected for years while sending all this money overseas. People are going to realize we never had as much to waste as we thought we did.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Basically.
basically.
Uh, are you winning, Sir Kenneth? Gotta keep asking the question over and over again.
He's folding his laundry. He's folding his laundry.
Fair enough. Okay.
There it was. I had the microphone muted. My bad.
No worries.
Yeah.
No
Okay,
worries,
yeah,
no worries.
no, I've been saying what like Sir Cleveland is saying right now for a while. It's at some point bragging that you're supported by APAC is going to be politically like bragging I'm supported by NAMBLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the
I mean,
same.
it's like
Yeah,
people like there's a whole generation coming up that despises Israel, that sees Israel as an occupying country, that grew up hearing all the stuff that we were lectured about colonialism and oppression and apartheid and ethnic and discrimination and ethnic cleansing. And
yeah,
they're looking at Israel and they're saying, this seems familiar.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I mean, I'm not
Very familiar.
saying this to anybody who's going to accuse me of being anti-Semitic. Not that I'm an anti-Semite. It's that, like, I'm saying this as a tactical situation. If you may not like what I'm saying, that's fine.
yeah.
Mhm.
The facts are Israel is less popular in the United States than it has been since 1948.
That's the
Mhm.
truth. That is the absolute truth now.
You can either account for that, or you could sit there and think that if you scream anti-Semitism long enough,
Yeah.
Mhm.
will change their minds. They're not going to this time.
Mhm.
I'm disappointed in them because they continue to claim, well, if we have enough control over free speech in the US and we can have enough programs to take over social media and monitor all conversations, we'll be able to stop people from saying bad things like we can't afford them anymore. So there
Mhm.
you have the Israelis actually doubling down on positions that are gonna make people hate them so much. People are gonna care less about their own lives than getting free of them. And it's
Mhm.
happened before, you know. They are driving another pogrom if they keep it up. If the Israel makes it simply a position that will not be tolerated to simply say, can't you guys run your own country? Can't you take care of yourself? Don't you have money of your own? If that becomes intolerable and forbidden to say in public, it's going to get really ugly. So if I was an Israeli, I'd think, maybe time to just let public opinion fester a little, let them storm and hate on us because the old approach is just not going to work the way we did it before.
Exactly. All right, all right. I got some more winning for you, gents. All right, Murtaza Hussein. As per Bloomberg, Oman has begun informing European countries that fees will continue to exist on maritime transit in Hormuz and that the situation will not revert to pre-war status quo. Despite U.S. pressure, it is also an open secret that European and Asian countries have been paying to get their ships through recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much winning, guys. So much winning.
Who controls the Strait of Hormuz? Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
Who gets to make the rules about tolls? Iran gets to make the rules about tolls. Again, I don't you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, you can tell me that you think I'm being offensive and hateful, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
You have to play the hand you dealt, not the hand you want.
No, yeah. Hmm. Uh, ay, ay, ay. Iran and the USA have set up a direct hotline to avoid any clashes in the Strait of Hormuz that might trigger a military confrontation. I mean, that's from Press TV. I'll be skeptical about that just because I don't think the Americans have anything useful to say, other than like threats and whatnot. Uh, yeah. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, this from the Wall Street Journal. How Iran devastated the Bahrain naval base, and they have like a bunch of these like satellite photos with regard to the hits from even the smaller missiles. Yeah. Sir Cleveland, look, this tanker over here,
Yeah,
it's only lightly damaged.
yeah.
Shortly before this is like a famous photo now, but shortly before this photo came out, all of these idiotic Americans, they're like, "Oh, it was only lightly damaged." Let me see here, folks. Sir Cleveland, what do you observe with your eyes for this one?
I think we should hop in and ask for a runway. I'm sure we can get that airborne in no time. You stand at the back enough and flap your arms. I'll be in the pilot's seat.
It is literally reaching these like, we're reaching levels of stupidity I had not thought possible.
Yeah, me neither.
Lightly damaged, Sir Kenneth. Look, Sir Kenneth, only lightly damaged,
Oh,
lightly
jeez,
damaged
I'd
tanker
hate to
aircraft.
see what heavy damage looks like. Lightly I mean,
Oh,
I just keep
yeah.
thinking of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. "'Tis but a
Like,
flesh wound."
yeah, it's getting to be so much like a Monty Python skit. Lightly damaged means half the plane is gone. So
Oh, dear.
officially, that is no longer an asset of the American military. When that much of the plane is destroyed, you write it off because it's never going to fly again. But
Yeah,
the Americans can't even tell the truth about the plane being destroyed.
yeah. Lightly damaged, guys, lightly damaged.
Lightly damaged.
Mhm.
It's only a flesh wound. I feel like a walk. I want to go for a walk.
"You got no legs, mate."
There we go. There we go. Uh, yeah, U.S. trade deficit sharpens widely. 105 billion in May. So basically, if my math is correct, the trade deficit is now, if we annualize that, that's going to be $1.2 trillion. So America has become more import dependent, not less, due to Trump, right? Uh, yeah. And as once the oil hits tank bottom in the reserves, the special petroleum reserves, right? And then, we have oil prices getting fucked again, right? What's going to happen is, yeah, this 105 billion monthly is probably going to be 150, 200 billion monthly, right? At which point America's flirting with bankruptcy. So there you go.
With that plane, even in the best of times, it'll take between 18 to 24 months to build a new one.
Mhm,
And I guarantee you, they'll spend 18 to 24 months deciding whether or not they should build a new one. In the meanwhile, all this
mhm,
equipment is being scrapped. There are no replacements. And so, therefore, any declarations of war, when you have no munitions and you have no equipment left, are not going to be taken seriously by Iran.
mhm.
In that sense, they are leading this conflict because they're the ones who are conducting themselves realistically, whereas
Yeah.
America is just press releases and public statements and bizarre releases on social media by Donald Trump. And it's increasingly crazier by the hour.
Yep. 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 Uh so much winning, gents. So much winning. I'm just trying to find the
I
more
mean,
winning. Okay.
I never thought I'd say I'm looking back nostalgically to the days when Biden was in office, only because at least they were smart enough to break out the auto pen, put him to bed by
Mhm.
8 o'clock, and make sure that he didn't embarrass people too badly until, like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, maybe
yeah,
they should have just skipped the debate.
yeah.
There we go. There we go. Uh, ay, ay, ay.
Enough. I hope I won't have to leave too early, but I'll probably be stopping at 12 if that's all right.
No worries, Sir Cleveland. No
Okay.
worries.
I know we started a bit late this morning, but I was glad to make it. And I think we
It's all
just
good.
talked about some important stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you've got stuff to share on your screen as well, do so.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to find other stuff to share in the meantime,
My
right?
mouth is watering thinking about Taco Bell. I got to
Taco
go.
Bell. Oh dear.
Ridiculous. I'm glad it's not cocaine or heroin, but I got a Taco Bell addiction. It's scary. I got to eat there 3 or 4 times a week, or I feel like I'm starving to death. So
Ah.
Oh,
it's that fast food for you.
There we go. There we go. All right. I'm just trying to see what else we've got down here. Concluded. Oh, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Let's see what Mark Levin has to say. All right. Sir Cleveland. Actually, no. Sir Kenneth, would you like to read that?
That's the UAE has looked around and concluded the Iranian regime isn't going anywhere, and our country is done with any serious military action. So it's coddling up to Iran. Okay, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, stage 5 acceptance. I mean, what
yeah,
exactly is the UAE going to do? America has shown them conclusively,
yeah.
we cannot protect you. What do
Mark
you think
R11,
Yep.
happens next?
has realized it's over.
Mark
With
Levine has visualized. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Sir Kenneth. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no they're making nice with Iran because, well, that's the biggest threat they've got to them right now, and they know they can't rely on us to keep them safe. It's really, it's no more complicated than that.
There we
Yeah,
go. Are people making memes about this? The Islamo-Nazi, Nazi, communist, Eurasianist, third world, Duganist, Wignut, send their regard. Okay, that's just like, okay, now that's just meme material. Um, Let me just see. Sir Kenaz, in the last 6 months, the word nigger has been tweeted 6.9 trillion times.
Nigger, please.
that's 7 million.
Okay. I'll have to tweet it 100,000 times. I didn't even do it that much on Gab.
I never used the word, but that's hardly the worst of our problems. That's
Yeah, I mean,
hardly.
I don't really use the word, but I'm like, I don't use the word, but I'm not going to be incredibly offended if somebody decides to show blazing saddles.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's like I think it became this enormous flashpoint when it was like, okay, there's a lot of shit going on here that's
yeah,
a lot worse than,
yeah,
some angry, disaffected teenager using the N word. Well, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying,
yeah,
there are more important things to worry about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's opinion
Oh,
that you project your problems onto an issue that's safe to talk about. And talking about the N word was made into a kind of uh, an idol for worship. We must not use the N word. Listen, it's a bad word. There's about a million other words that are also bad in the English dictionary, and you probably shouldn't use any of those either. I made a real effort in recent years to stop cursing altogether. I'm convinced the military was right. It's a sign of a weak mind. You got to police
yeah.
your brain. It's not good to curse if you can help it. But
Yeah. Yep.
that's not going to solve any of our national or international problems
Mhm.
by stop cursing. Probably a good start on cultural reform, but that has nothing to do with the very pressing problems America has.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Al Jazeera breaking news. UAE says incoming missile threat warning messages. False alarm due to technical glitch. This is so humiliating because even as Iran beats the shit out of them, they have to pretend that nothing is happening. Because
Yeah,
if they pretend that something is happening, their master America will be like, all right, we got to restart the war, right? But they can't do that. So they're like, hey guys, nothing to see here, only lightly damaged, only a false alarm, nothing's happening. Iran's not beating the shit out of us. It is
yeah,
so humiliating, Sirkinaz. So much winning, Sirkinaz.
I think the big problem was they assumed America was always going to be, the great superpower.
yeah,
America could protect them from Iran. I mean, that
Mm.
was a dubious claim when it happened.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
But
25
now
years
it's been
when they,
proven
they had
false.
no hypersonics, they had no hypersonic program,
Yep.
despite the hypersonic missile actually beginning its existence on American drawing boards. I knew 25 years ago there's an innovation curve here, and they don't seem to be on it. So you can guess in a decade or two, they're going to fall far, far behind the other nations They're spending a lot of money on hypersonic drones and other technology. When America goes to fight a war with one of these people, it's going to be obvious they just got old, crappy Vietnam tech. That's all they've got left, and they haven't innovated in more than a quarter of a century. So it really
Yeah.
showed in this war, the Iranian war.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, what a shit show.
Thank you, Ahnaf. I'm sorry, I got to do something to eat.
No worries, no worries. Sir
Have a
Cleveland.
good day at Taco Bell.
You too, Knash. Thank you.
All
Take
right. All
care.
right.
Yeah. Now this
Take
is
care.
just like I didn't think we could hit these levels of stupid. I mean, it's realistically like how this was never, we knew what was going to happen if we got involved in a land war in Iran. You know, it's basically the same thing that would happen if we got involved in a land war with Russia, only with mountains instead of cold.
Yeah. But Sir Kenas, America killed over 3,000 Iranians and America only lost 15 soldiers. Obviously, that 15 soldiers number is accurate.
And
And obviously, all 3,000 of the Iranians are military personnel, not civilians, right?
I mean, it
Therefore,
doesn't,
America
the
won the
thing
war.
is, it doesn't matter. Suppose they're right. Suppose we really only lost 15 soldiers and Iran lost 3,000 people. Iran is still blockading the state Straits of Hormuz. Iran is still basically extracting, I was going to say extorting, which would be equally, pay us
Correct.
or
It would be
else, which is
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
correct. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're doing that, so it doesn't matter how many people they killed if they failed to achieve their objective.
But I thought so. But Sir Kenas, isn't war a Hollywood movie where like Rambo kills all the Vietnamese in the jungle and then wins?
Yeah, well, you'll notice Rambo wind up sleeping on the streets in Oregon because, like, even after he won that war at Vietnam. I'm not being,
Yeah.
no disrespect intended to any of my veteran listeners and buddies here, but I think we can all agree that Vietnam was not America's finest hour. We did not win that war. We did have a much higher kill count than our opponents did, but we
Oh
still
yeah.
lost the war. I mean, it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter altogether, but for most intents and purposes, it doesn't matter. If they're willing to sustain the casualties and keep going longer than you're willing to sustain your casualties or keep going, it doesn't. The imbalance isn't important.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I find it weird because, like, when people talk about Vietnam, they're like, well, 58,000 Americans died, several million Vietnamese died. I'm like, okay, but it's Army A versus Army B, right? It's not like, okay, subcomponent of Army A versus the entirety of Army B. That's not how you count things. Like, if you're counting that way, you're being dishonest, right? Like, okay, your allies, the South Vietnamese, how many people did they lose? And then how many people did you lose and your buddies in the coalition versus the North Vietnamese and their coalition? And once you add up the numbers are far closer to parity than like, the mighty Americans only lost 58,000 and this many Vietnamese died, right? So that's what that is. Uh, People are still coping about this crap, but uh, American, what's the word I'm looking for? The mythology of like American invincibility. I think that thing is dead. It's not really coming back, especially with like all these other things that are happening around the world. Uh,
We ain't looking real invincible at this moment.
no,
We're looking,
not
in
at all.
fact,
No.
rather invincible.
Oh yeah. Uh, oh, let me share this. Can I share this? Let me see. Yeah, it's working. Still working. All right. Iranian strikes crippled U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet HQ in Bahrain. Command center, comms, warehouses, barracks extensively damaged. Main building unusable per Wall Street Journal. Repair costs alone at Bahrain, 400 million. Total regional damage over 2 billion. Pentagon now rethinking Gulf footprint, reducing presence in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, moving command centers underground, possibly relocating to Israel. Yeah, they're going to relocate to Israel. They're not going to build
Rethinking.
any of that
I
shit.
mean, they're
Yeah.
rethinking. they can think in one hand, shit in the other. Guess which one gets full first? I mean, it's like there's no rebuilding this at this point. Even if we had the billions to rebuild this major base in Bahrain, it's become really clear that Iran can knock it out with one military, like
Yeah,
with one missile strike.
yeah, yeah. But
Until we get past that pesky problem, we can't have those big bases.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The issue is very simple. Are you gonna build a bunch of military bases in countries which have shown in this war that not only are they unable to defend themselves, right? You can't defend them, and neither can they and you together combined. Like technologically, the Iranians have surpassed you. Like people call it circuitous, they call it asymmetric warfare. Like that's bullshit, right? Like, oh, um, the German knights, the mighty German knights, are fighting against the Hussite heretics. And the Hussite heretics, they're using asymmetric warfare. What is it? It's like a giant metal pipe, and from the metal pipe, something blows out. And that's not real warfare. Real warfare is like German knights in formation charging down, right? Like the Americans are doing the same fucking cope from like 600 years ago. They're like, well, Iranians are using drones and missiles, man, and they're using speedboats for their navy. That's not real warfare. That's asymmetric warfare. I'm like, no, dude, this is modern warfare, and what you're doing is obsolete warfare, because what you're doing is you're trying to refight World War II in the year 2026. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's been abundantly clear for a while. We armed to fight the previous war, and the last war we had on the scope of Iran would have been World War II.
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty much what
exactly.
we'd be looking at. We'd be looking at a mobilization of that size.
hmm Yeah, exactly.
We'd be looking at a ground invasion as bigger than D-Day.
hmm
That's what we know, that's what it would take.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good luck getting all of that, by the way, Sir Kinez, with the, I don't know, everyone unemployed and the dog shit wages and no ability for this admin to even track where all the young people are for drafting, and their young people running off to Mexico and Canada. Good luck with all of that as the country falls apart to like all kinds of other shit. So,
Oh yeah, no, we don't.
yeah.
Conscription is not an option. We've
No, it's not.
known that since Vietnam. We're not conscripting people is not going to work.
Nope. A lot of people still haven't figured that out. They're just like, well, we just need a draft and we can just like, defeat Iran any second now. And it's
Yeah,
like, well,
after we defeat the chaos in the streets over a draft, we can do
yeah,
that.
there we go.
It's just like, yeah, we've known that for some time. That's not a winning game. We cannot rely on on conscription. That's not, we have had bad luck with it. The last time we were able to pull it off was World War II. And at that time, there was much more internal cohesion. There was also much more feeling of patriotism. There was more of a feeling of a duty to die, like a duty to die for one's country. Dying for one's country is one thing, to fight, to stop the commies or to stop the Nazis or whatever. Dying, in some African country because like a big contractor needs their oil. Most people aren't real enthusiastic about that.
hmm hmm Uh, so much winning, Sir Kenneth. We're winning so much.
Winning,
hmm
winning, winning.
hmm Uh, oh, this is a good one. Let me read this. This is more philosophical, but this might actually be. I'm gonna read this in full. I don't agree with all of it, but it's actually a very good observation. Let me just see. Mojave Art Club. I'm just gonna read it in full and let me know what you think, Sirkiness. All right. Share screen. Okay. All right. Mojave Art Club. Americans emerged from the brief 250 years being largely historically ignorant of most historical events. We incorrectly assumed World War II, for example, was won by the awe of American firepower could inspire, and we have consistently failed to do it again ever since. This incorrect assumption is largely born out of the mistaken belief that indeed the nukes won the war against Japan, and our vile propaganda, which suggested the Germans or Japanese were these alien people we managed to subdue by force of arms. Now that we increasingly are interjecting ourselves into conflicts, we find they are messy, diplomatic, gnarling messes to untangle, and that they actually can't be won by firepower and genocide, as the US did with Native Americans in the case of genocide, or with Japan and Germany, both of which were not won exclusively by US action, and we just simply misremember and indulge in a fantasy of ourselves as the singular hero of World War II. America has managed to exist for 250 years without really needing to seriously engage in diplomacy, and when finally confronted with serious political messes, we trust ourselves into things we consistently fail to achieve, objectives, and merely fall back to, well, we could exterminate everyone if we wanted to, as if it's a flex. Yeah, there's always like a magic quote unquote I win button, Sirkin has. The
Yeah.
Americans have an I win button, but they don't press it due to lack of willpower. That's the
I
story.
mean, he's partially right. I think he correctly states one thing, which is like Americans believe, we won World War II. Let's be realistic here. American firepower and American materiel turned the tide of World War II.
Yeah.
That's actually that let he's not, I think he missed that. However, the fact is we no longer have that manufacturing base. This is like a 70-year-old who was a Golden Gloves in like the 60s deciding he's going to get like off his, he's going to go back into boxing and he's going to win the world championship. I'm sure he's still got some moves. I mean, I'm sure the guy is a lot tougher than your average 70-year-old. Do I think he'll survive long in a ring with like a 25 to 30-year-old? No.
No. No, he won't, Sirkin. But he's gonna still win. Because that's what America's good at, winning. So much winning, Sirkin. So much winning.
So much winning. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is, it's also we can't genocide them like we genocided the Indians. We did like I think that Indian genocide thing is they with every right were shooting back at us. We shot back at them. There was territory to be won. We won it. This is a historical thing. It has happened throughout history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't like it. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm saying, this idea that America is uniquely bad, like, when the Japanese did it to the Ainu, the Great Bantu migration essentially wiped out most of the the Twa, what we used to call the pygmies of Europe, the Bushmen, who used to be all over the region, who are now, basically confined to essentially reservations. Does that word ring a bell? Yeah, I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
unfortunate. I mean, unfortunately, one of the I can't say it's completely airtight, but I have yet to see an exception to it. When a country with lower technological acumen runs into a country with higher technological acumen, invariably it goes poorly for the country with lower technological acumen.
So, Kenneth, I thought you were talking about the Americans losing to Iran for a second there, but then I
Well,
realized you
I
were
mean, the
talking about.
problem with Iran is we got the idea that,
Yeah.
Iran was a lower technology. I remember that. I think I remember posting this back in like even late 2024 when it was becoming obvious Trump was going to win the election. Was somebody was posting, we've got like so many more missiles, so many more everything. The only thing Iran beats us at is they got more flying carpets.
Yeah. Well, those
And
flying
it's like,
carpets
well, yeah,
work.
that's like, how'd that work out for you? we have this idea of still thinking we're the America of World War II.
Yeah. 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 Uh, all right. Rory Johnston. Speaking of that topic, Trump on yesterday's Iranian attack on a ship in Hormuz that was taking the southern Omani route. Okay. And then the orange nigger moves out the following. The Islamic Republic of Iran shot at least four one-way attack drones at ships transversing. Oh, he didn't even like, he didn't even use the correct word. Transversing the Strait of Hormuz. One of the drones solidly hit the upper deck of a large and very expensive cargo carrying ship. Damage was done, but the ship was able to proceed on its way. We knocked down three other drones. Obviously, it is a foolish violation of our ceasefire agreement. President Caps Lock Donald J. Trump. What's he going to do about it, Sir Kenneth? He didn't tell us anything about that.
Well, yeah,
He
I
didn't
mean,
tell us
that's
anything.
kind of
Yeah,
it. There's nothing
yeah.
he really can do about it. That's, it is what it is. Sorry, you're not happy to hear that, like, we don't have the power to project the kind of force you need to take Iran, but we don't have that kind of power. Nothing
Mhm.
personal, we're not pretending we don't have this power just because we want to, like, are mad at Donald Trump. It's we don't have the power to do that.
Yeah. Uh, regional oil balances from Morgan Stanley. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. So Kenaz, obviously, oil being at $70 a barrel, obviously it's accurate because look, everything is falling below the threshold for like what the last 5 year range shows us. So obviously, everything is fine. Don't worry about it, Sir Kenaz. Look at that.
Oh yeah, oh no, I'm sure everything is going to be just fine. I'm trusting the plan. Trust the plan.
This is by the way, if you notice something, Sir Kenaz, right? So pay attention to what this is. Okay, so the American thing like fell off a cliff a few weeks ago, right? And then the European thing is zigzagging, right? The Japanese thing is going up. Okay, why is this zigzagging? Why is this going up? Why is Singapore going up slightly? Back to that, right? It's because the Americans are giving them these special reserves. That's the reason, right? And in terms of total oil inventories around the world, still falling. In terms of Fujairah, which is like in the UAE, that also, yeah. So the Americans are trying to lift up the entire world. Isn't that amazing, Sir Kenaz? Give the rest of the world all of the special petroleum reserves, just so that they can make these moves.
So we can win the war in Iran.
I'm gonna share this to a Telegram group, man. Holy shit, this is like, oh dear,
I
oh
mean,
dear, so much winning.
we gotta lose, guys. Sooner, yeah, I really am tired of winning. Donald was right. He promised
Yeah, yeah,
we'd get so tired of winning, we'd wish we were losing. Well, here we
yeah.
is.
There he is. There he is.
There it is.
Oh, there's a sound. Try playing the soundboard, Sir Kenneth. Let's see if it works over here.
Soundboard work. I tried it earlier. I don't believe it was working. Let me
Mm-hmm.
check.
Should be. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out.
I have not yet been able to figure out, unfortunately, how to get the soundboard on Substack Voices. I'd say that Substack Live, that would make things really, that would be perfect. It really would be, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, all right. And let me just see what this is. Spending on data construction. By the way, Sir Kenneth, remember the South Korean stock market?
yeah, it was down like 8% this morning, right?
So that's what's going on there with regard to. So you've got two companies, Samsung and I think that's Hynix. Samsung and Hynix, 8% negative for Hynix, Samsung -5. So much winning, Sirkin. Look at that.
Well,
Obviously,
yeah, I
Sirkin
mean,
has.
Korean market's been like, kind of shake. Korea has a lot of issues, including some very, very serious birth rate issues. It's like Korea. The main difference between South Korea and North Korea, as I understand it, is South Korea is ruled by five families and North Korea is ruled by one.
Basically, yeah. That's kind of what's going on there.
So,
Sir Kinez, don't worry. Yeah, but don't worry, Sir Kinez. Like obviously, Samsung and Hynix, they don't give a fuck about like oil, gas, fertilizer, all of that stuff. All of that stuff, that's for the plebs, man. They don't need that stuff, right? They make fucking phones and AI.
what
Right?
was it
They don't need
Karl
that stuff.
Rove said? We create our own reality, and you're just going to be left there to stand, like to wait in the sidelines and wonder when we create it.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work
There
out?
we go. How'd that work out? uh, oh dear. Oh dear. I'm just like going through all of this stuff. Al Mayadeen denies recent Israeli military reports claiming that trading activity. Okay, that's not important. Aircraft refueling in midair. Investment banking analyst. Nope, that doesn't matter. Okay, what do we have over here? Uh, any winning to share, Sir Kenaz, on the big screen, on the Jumbotron?
Oh, no, I'm just like sitting here, you know, once again, as usual, gobsmacked by the stupidity of the people who rule me.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. On another one, found more humiliation. UAE Ministry of Interior. Situation is normal. Minutes after issuing a missile attack warning, UAE Ministry Interior announced in another statement, situation is normal and safe. Nothing to see here, Sir Kenaz. Obviously, Iran didn't hit them with missiles. It's just a malfunction, technical glitch. Oh, dear. Oh, my God.
Iran's going to be, it's like, yeah, they're very soon, Iran is going to realize their battle with the United States is futile and they're going to like, beg for succor, and we are going to generously rebuild Iran and like take over the straits.
Yeah, yeah.
The sad thing is there's a fair number of like Trump tards who still believe that.
Yes, sir. Oh.
I want to say Stalin said, everybody is stupid once in a while, but don't abuse the privilege.
They're abusing it, Sir Kenaz. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
uh, oh dear. Trump says Iran launched 4 drones. We already read that. Strait of Hormuz crossings are gradually improving. Yeah, no, it's not. Okay. We are told that, okay, that's not important. Satellite imagery, I think we already read that. What else is going on? Bullish chart. Iran and Oman for the next decade because of Trump's victory in Iran. Oh, this is like, yeah. This is the relevant meme, Sirkinas. This is the meme right here. Yeah. Ah.
Ships may have to pay. Yeah, I mean, will have to pay. Why don't we just skip the may?
Yeah, skip the may. Just say will.
We
Oh, okay.
know the ships are going to have to pay because the only alternative is we come in and tell them, no, you're not going to charge for access to the Strait of Hormuz, or we're going to beat it out of you, like beat that idea out of you. And like then when they tell us, well, how are you going to do that? We're going to have to beat it out of them.
Yes,
Not
sir.
happening. That's just, I mean, we've already proven we're in over our heads. I mean, I know we're doomers. I know we're pessimists. all I ask for, I'm willing to be proven wrong. Just show me some plan that you have for getting these people, like getting, this kind, like getting the Iran out of Hormuz and us taking control. Show us your war plan. How many troops do you need?
Yeah.
Many troops
Okay.
do you have? Okay, if you have more troops than you need, you know, if you've accounted for any of a dozen particular conditions that I can mention, then I'll support it. But they seem to have this idea that you know victory goes to the guy. Like, victory is a morality test, because we're more moral than Iran, we must win.
Yeah, that's kind of what that is now, which is like, oh, they're a bunch of theocrats and despots or whatever, therefore we will win. The arc of history is towards the protagonist and the main character. Who is that, Sir Kenneth? Well, obviously that's America.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, if most people learn the world doesn't work that way by the time they grow out of their teenage years.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Da, 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 da. I'm just seeing what else is going on here. There's a bunch of economic stuff and there's other stuff going on. Peter Schiff. Let's see what Peter Schiff has to say. U.S. goods. The United States goods trade deficit soared over 28% in May, jumping to 105.8 billion, the largest since March of 2025, driven by a 5.4% fall in exports and a 3.6% rise in imports. Hey, Sir Kenaz, that's wonderful. America is exporting less and importing more. This flies in the face of Trump's claim that his tariffs will reduce America's persistent trade deficit. All right, Sir Kenaz, there we go. Woo!
You're
So much
winning.
winning. Yeah, so much winning. Oh man. Yeah. It's so fucking stupid, man. Holy shit. Uh what else do we have here? Uh Trump wants the DOJ, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. That's all pretty relevant, but like we already covered this in the show. Uh how are we looking on with regard to time?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to slap a split at some point soon, so this may be a good point to wrap up.
Yeah, I think we kept it under 90 minutes. I think we're good. Like Substack Live seems to be maxing out when it's at like 90 minutes. That seems to be when like people are like, okay, well, this is long enough, but not too long. So all right. So Kenaz, we won a lot, so much winning. Any final words for our lovely audience?
The same final words I give you every time. The doom cometh.
The doom cometh. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for showing up. See ya.
Take care.